Hey folks, so we have finished the Burger and Brewfest 2020. Finished because coronavirus isolation nonsense stopped two of the restaurants from actually being able to serve before we could get to them. So 34 burgers in 17 days isn't bad, I gotta say. And what we're going to do is rank them. Not all of them. I can't do 1 to 34. It's just too much. We're going to do tiers, 7 of them, and the top 5 I'll actually put in order. So we'll start with tier 7, the bottom tier, and this was actually the easiest tier to come up with because there were 4 restaurants that really set themselves below everyone else. Now, a couple of caveats. First of all, our grading scale, we didn't put numbers on anything as such, but we were looking for things like taste, originality, structural integrity, theme. Just, did we enjoy the burger was obviously the most important thing, but if you didn't fit your description, there was going to be a problem. If you didn't use fresh ingredients, there was going to be a problem. Just basically, we're trying to be consistent throughout, but we didn't want to penalize restaurants for not having top-of-the-line chefs. You know, if you made a good-tasting burger that wasn't the most original idea, that's still going to get you relatively high up. So let's start right at the bottom. I've been doing this now for 4 years. This might be the 4th year, 3 or 4. I've eaten a lot of burgers in that time. Probably over 75 burgers. There's only been one that I could not eat, could not finish, and that was Shamrock City this year. Shamrock City's Moose Burger was straight up inedible. It was just disgusting. It was congealed. It was gamey, almost tasted stale. It just had ketchup, relish, and mustard on it, and these were store-bought items. For something that calls itself a Mighty Moose Burger and says local ingredients were used, the only local ingredients I can imagine that they used on this was the moose. Everything else was just straight out of the supermarket. I could have made this myself, and it would have tasted better. And I'm no chef. I mean, I'm a decent home cook. This was just not edible, plain and simple. Not much higher would be Boston Pizza. I have to admit, going into this, I was not holding out high hopes for Boston Pizza. Chain restaurants generally don't tend to employ, quality chefs, not at their branches anyway. And their spicy pierogi burger was neither spicy, nor did it really remind me of a pierogi. It had potato on it. Their cactus cut potatoes, which are actually pretty good on their own and normally spicy, just didn't carry over to the burger. The patty itself, 100% frozen store-bought. I have them in my deep freeze right now and could make this burger myself right now without much effort. The patty, again, was congealed. It was not pleasant. The cactus sauce, or whatever it is that they called it, basically might as well not have been there. You could have made that sour cream. You could have put some bacon on there, or put bacon bits in the sour cream. You could have put different cheese on there. Anything. This could have been so much easier to make, if not good, at least acceptable. Although we were able to finish it, we probably shouldn't have. This was just not good. Slightly higher up, unfortunately, is Gypsy Tea Room. We've had good meals at Gypsy Tea Room. This wasn't one of them, I gotta say. The patty itself was dry, and considering it was made of brisket, which, is slow cooked, that should have been a lot harder to do. The biggest issue here, though, was that the mustard just overwhelmed everything. I think the kitchen made a mistake. They put the mustard on the top and the bottom of the bun, so you just basically got mouthfuls of mustard. Our friend Katie went separately from us, and although she didn't have that problem, they didn't flatten the patty on her, so she ended up with a baseball on a bun. And again, if you are a quality restaurant, a Gypsy Tea Room is, you can't be making this sort of a mistake. Like, these are rookie mistakes. The smoked cheddar, Applewood smoked cheddar was on this burger, and it might as well not have been. You couldn't taste it. The mustard just completely destroyed everything. And it's sad because with the correct amount of mustard, I have to believe that smoked flavor of the cheddar would have worked so well into that mustard. You would have been hit by the mustard, and then the cheddar would have sort of taken over the palate right after the mustard wore off. It should have been great. Red onion wasn't grilled, despite the fact that it was supposed to be. The tomatoes were not beefsteak, despite the fact that they were supposed to be. And the garlic butter on the brioche, I didn't taste it. The lettuce was Boston Bib lettuce. I'll give them that. So, you know, they get away with that one. But man, this is the second year in a row that Gypsy Tea Room has just failed to deliver. Last time it was duck bacon that basically disintegrated, and a patty that was drier than a duck's butt, and that's watertight. So, man, if they do this again next year and Gypsy Tea Room joins in, they're going to be starting behind the 8 ball. They're going to have to do a lot. The final burger in this tier is actually a bit of a disappointment, and it's Piatto Downtown. The 2 different branches of Piatto actually had 2 different burgers this year. The Midtown one you'll hear about quite a bit later, so that tells you what we're missing out on here. The biggest problem for me with Piatto Downtown is that they just repeated last year's burger. It was exactly the same. The recipe was the same. Even the description was exactly the same as they did last year. And for a competition that is supposed to be about originality and creations, they didn't create. They just repeated. Now, I'll give them a small amount of credit. They did change the way they made the pizza dough bun. Last year it was way too big, and this year they cut it down to a reasonable size, but that's it. And in fact, they made the burger slightly worse by upping the amount of ragu on the burger, in my opinion anyway. Not everybody shared this that ate with me. Making it so that was really the strongest flavor on there, which is a real shame because pizza dough buns work great. The patty that Piatto used, I think they used the same one at both restaurants, which is fine. But that patty is normally a very tasty one. And this entire burger, just the fact that it wasn't original and that the ragu overwhelmed way too much really damages the overall ranking of this one. So, those are our bottom 4. We've got 6 more of these videos at least to come. I may do an additional one where we hand out some unconventional awards. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoy this. This is my first time doing anything like this, so maybe it will get better as we go. I'm not going to do any fancy editing because I don't have those skills. Just to let you know, I have not been sponsored or paid in any way by any of these restaurants. There is no bias here. This is just my opinion based on some fairly objective criteria, some subjective. So thanks very much again, and hopefully see you soon for Tier 6.